This week is our greatest hits version of our Back to School month. The whole reason this is, we are looking back at all the issues we focused on throughout the 5 years of this show. As our 5th season finale is going to end in about 2 weeks. Actually, next week is the start of August. So when August starts, that's the end of our Back to School month, and I won't be coming on again until the first day of school, which is Wednesday, August 10th. I'll give you more details, and we'll have our Back to School greatest hits in just a minute. But let's give you the very latest on COVID and Uvalde. There's whoa. Over 11,000 new cases, 31 deaths. New Oasis County, 210. With over 1,500 deaths. Hospitalizations, over 4,400, 38,711. 75.7% of the population was fully vaccinated, 21.6 million, 18.1 million been fully vaccinated. That is 63.3%. 601 million doses beginning in the U.S. In the U.S., while 223 million been fully vaccinated, 67.7% of the population been fully vaccinated. Sorry, I'm talking fast. Wow. I think the main reason why all this happens is basically because nobody's vaccinated. You know who do we blame? We blame the people who say it's against my religion. Or it's against, or a medical issue. Well, the medical issues we understand. We blame the people who the pastors say, do not get vaccinated. It is against your religion. Let me tell you. You are a human being. You have a right to be vaccinated. You shouldn't be controlled by your pastor. If you have to defy your pastor and get removed from the church, do it. It's your choice to make. Just do it. Get your vaccines. We have to make sure we're staying safe. Look at these numbers. The numbers are going high. There's over 10,000 new cases and over 30 deaths. We're now up to 89,400 of this, and personally, I got the wrong pen. Oh, a pencil sounds good. Personally, I think what needs to happen here, we have to make sure that everyone gets vaccinated. Everyone. Even kids. Especially the little kiddos, because it ain't like the cost of a pencil. So I think what really needs to happen here is that we need to make sure this doesn't happen again. By making sure that everybody understands about what goes on. And safety. These people have been COVID dodgers. These people have been COVID dodgers for these people have been dodged. Watch.
This guy was driving way over the speed limit. They never got it.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was constant.
Watch.
I have never had COVID.
Dr. Katrine Wallace is a COVID super dodger. For 2 years and 5 months, she has dodged the virus. How did she do it?
I always wear a mask. I always try to keep social distance.
I dodged COVID for over 2 years.
Luke Martin and Tony Freeman both live and work in New York, which has been hit by wave after wave of COVID, and yet they never got it.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was constantly just more and more people surrounding me were getting COVID and I could not get it.
I'm careful and lucky, and that's a good combination with this disease.
So far, 60% of Americans have been infected with COVID, many of us twice. So, what is it about super dodgers? Are they superhuman?
Could there be a genetic way that the body just doesn't get infected with certain bad bacteria or viruses? So could there be a genetic reason? We certainly don't have any evidence for that.
Until last week, President Biden was a super dodger. Then he caught the new Omicron variant, BA.5. Here he is today at the White House with his German Shepherd Commander. Biden's doctor reports his symptoms have now almost completely resolved.
I'm feeling better every day. I still have a little bit of a sore throat and a little bit of a cough.
He sounded like his old self on a Zoom meeting, but did he fall asleep in the middle of the briefing? It looks like an aide woke him up.
BA.5 is so contagious that we think at some point just about everyone will have experienced an infection with this virus.
And what do you know? Luke Martin's luck just ran out. He informs us he finally got COVID because he let his guard down.
I genuinely thought I couldn't get it, and now that I've gotten it, I'm going to be more careful again.
Don't let your guard down. Be like these people, be the COVID dodgers by being vaccinated all the time, wearing your mask, social distancing, hand washing, sanitizing your hands, and riding the bus, protect yourself. If you're not vaccinated, get vaccinated right now. If you have a medical condition, let them know beforehand. If you have COVID, quarantine yourself for 5 days. But first, let your management know. Also, if you're quarantined, do not leave the house. Stay in the designated area. Let's all be safe. This new variant is very dangerous, and we have to keep safe. I don't have COVID. I've dodged a bullet. I may have gotten throat sores because of my singing, but I'm the COVID dodger. I really am. Coming up next, the latest on Uvalde. This time, the principal spoke out to CNN, telling her side of the story. Now remember, Pete Arredondo and the principal are both on administrative leave. One with pay and one without pay. We'll see what she'll tell us about that locking door in the intercom. And then later on, our back to school greatest hits. Stay with us. It was just days ago when the principal of Robb Elementary has been put on administrative leave for not following the security measures. Now remember, she's one of the, she's not the only one. Pete Arredondo has been put on unpaid administrative leave because of his role in the shooting. What was the principal's role in this? Well, remember, it was the intercom that failed because of bad Wi-Fi issues. So what does she do? She talks to the janitor and say, can you make sure all the doors are locked? Because that would have let them know the shooter's presence. That would be the other issue with the intercom thing. Take a look.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on...
Now to new developments out of Uvalde. Just hours ago, the governor said DPS body camera footage should be released as soon as possible. And today, a new letter from Robb Elementary's principal. Mandy Gutierrez is now on administrative leave and is defending her job. Let's start there with KENS 5 reporter Henry Ramos, who joins us live. Henry, what did Gutierrez talk about in this letter?
Well, Isis, this really is her first public statement since she was placed on leave earlier this week. This is the letter right here that she sent to the Texas House Committee that is looking over the response at Robb Elementary. So she talked about the locks on Classroom 111, Wi-Fi limitations, the failure to use the school's PA system. She also addressed claims of a culture of complacency.
Days ago, Mandy Gutierrez found out she was suspended.
The Robb Elementary principal states in a new letter this is all pending a performance review relating to campus security. She first talked about classroom door 111. It is one of the two classrooms where 19 children and 2 teachers were killed. In the House Committee's report, it concluded the door probably was not locked, citing a faulty mechanism. However, Gutierrez says the door must have been able to lock because of daily checkups by custodians. The principal also defended herself after the House Committee's report found a culture of non-compliance with safety policies.
So yes, there will be both accountability and consequences.
The principal's letter comes hours after Governor Greg Abbott was asked by our sister station, KHOU, whether he will call for a special session. Uvalde School Board and City Council want him to have one to address raising the minimum age for buying a semi-automatic rifle from 18 to 21.
There is no agreement on anything like that whatsoever. What there is agreement on that everybody agrees upon, and that is we need to get to the root of the problem. The root of the problem that was abundantly clear with regard to the shooter there in Uvalde was a very serious mental health issue.
Now back to Gutierrez. She just completed her first year as principal at Robb Elementary, and she ended this letter by saying that she will live with the horror of this event for the rest of her life. And she says that she wants to keep her job so that she can be on the front lines for the children who survived. By the way, you can read this entire letter. It's posted right now at KENS5.com. We're live downtown tonight. Henry Ramos, KENS 5. ECs.
Thank you, Henry.
And what we now know so far is that she has spoken to CNN probably after that letter. But like the school board said, they are dealing with a lot of issues. Like that gun. But before we continue on, I should also point out, as we talked about, Jeopardy has now have a lot of hosts. As you remember 2 years ago, after Alex Trebek died during COVID, a lot of people have been named in guest hosts. I mean, you got LeVar Burton, you got Bill Whitaker, you've got Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, Savannah Guthrie. But now, Jeopardy has confirmed they named 2 permanent hosts. Mayim Bialik and Ken Jennings. That's Mayim Bialik and Ken Jennings. But they dispute their duties on Jeopardy. Now remember, it was supposed to be Ken Jennings who was supposed to be a host. But Mayim wanted... But they just said, whoa. Let's just put 2. Let's just have 2 hosts. It's just like years ago when, it's like years ago. It's like what happened 2 years ago when a lot of hosts came in and auditioned. It was like for a whole week. Dr. Oz, LeVar Burton, those were great hosts. But I still think Ken Jennings would be best. You shouldn't be having 2 hosts unless they both hosted separately. I mean, you got Elizabeth Banks who hosts Press Your Luck. You got what's his name that does Good Morning America and hosts The Pyramid. Then you also have, I mean, that's what you got. You also got Pat Sajak, Ben Wright, who hosts Wheel of Fortune. You also got Steve Harvey, who hosts Family Feud. But 2 permanent hosts, give me a break. By that's gonna be separate days. Like one day it'll be Ken Jennings, or 1 week it'll be Ken Jennings. The other week it'll be Mayim, and then all this and that and the other. So really hope that goes well for season 39 as it debuts probably sometime in September and October after Labor Day. Okay, when we return, one of our greatest hits of Back to School Week is about school safety. We're going to take you inside CCISD's new school as it upgrades its security. Plus, probably more updates on Oxford as Ethan Cohen starts going to trial. Actually, we'll yeah, we'll probably give you more updates on Oxford. We'll be right back. For those that haven't heard about the Oxford school shooting, let's bring you up to speed here. As you know, Ethan Crumbley is still in jail charged with murder. If he's convicted, he could face life in prison. His trial is in January 2023. His parents are now charged with involuntary manslaughter. They've asked the court to have their bonds lowered from $500,000 to $100,000. All three are sitting in jail in separate cells. The Crumbley's trial is set for October. And they want their son to testify. Now remember, this is all mountain of evidence. I mean, you got like mountains of evidence. You got the journal. You have the text messages. You have Jennifer, you have Ethan, who said Jennifer had an affair. The evidence just pops up everywhere. But there's new information here. If you watched America's Got Talent, you may have noticed that one of the Oxford school shooting survivors was on America's Got Talent. That 18-year-old wowed the crowd with a stunning performance on America's Got Talent. Her name was Ava Swiss. She got a standing ovation to be remembered by Lauren Daigle, a song she said helped her cope in the wake of the fatal mass shooting at Oxford High in Michigan. Swiss became emotional about the song, seeing standing ovation from the crowd and judges and all with applause. That's But now to get some seriousness, just on Wednesday, attorney Ben Johnson told Auckland County Circuit Court Judge Ray Lee Chavin that he viewed the surveillance footage on November 30th of the Oxford shooting. While the video is graphic, releasing him, he says it won't violate students' privacy. The video has been held by law enforcement and school officials who have not yet released it, citing privacy concerns. Johnson represents the family of one of the four students killed and other family injured students. He's charged with murder and terrorism in this case. Johnson says Ethan is seen in the video wearing a mask, but also using a gun. In the court, the attorney of Oxford Schools argued the civil lawsuit. The only one filed in the state court should put on hold until the issue the governmental is taken up by the Court of Appeals and the state Supreme Court months down the road. This judge said no. Attorney Jerry Johnson says there will be protective order for the video, keeping it from being made from public. But he says he'll have it soon. And the attorney for Oxford Schools did not comment outside of court. So we'll never know about that video. But if it's being released, we'll keep you posted. Our back to school greatest hits begins next. Turning now to our greatest hits of our back to school month, we focused in on a lot of school safety. Now remember in Uvalde, remember Robb Elementary, that horrible mass shooting, it had problems with the door and the intercom like we told you about earlier. Now CCISD, with 2 weeks away from the new school year, is now requiring all classroom doors to be locked during the school day. And there's a new twist. We're about to enter CCISD as it shows its new security features. Here's Bill Churchwell.
A fan at full blast, breaking the silence here at Garcia Elementary as workers get the campus ready to welcome parents' most precious gifts.
We are waxing the hallways, we're making sure that we get the textbooks in there for the teachers, and they have everything, all the tools they need to be successful for the students.
But opening the door to success will also mean some doors
They're secured and locked.
will remain closed.
Safety first all the time, whether it's from outside to the inside doors.
The CCISD School Board Monday taking action to update school security.
You know, these are our babies, and we want to do everything we can to make sure they're safe.
Kirby Warnke is the police chief for CCISD, but he's also a dad.
And then the only way in is either coming through the front office to check in or we could swipe in. We come on in.
That's the first line of defense. The security entrance has been installed at every single campus across CCISD's 50-plus schools. The school board's decision adding another layer of safety.
These will remain locked and closed. Locked and closed during the instructional day.
Making sure those who don't belong inside the classroom can't get in.
If you don't lock your exterior door and you don't lock your classroom door, then tragedy can happen.
But what about getting out? Viewers expressing concerns about the new security measures, sharing these comments on social media.
Everything we do is fire code savvy. So the doors are designed not to let bad guys in, but in the event of an emergency, we can all get out.
Warnke adds, you might be surprised to learn the measure is something the district already had in place since 2013 following the Sandy Hook tragedy. A decade later, it's now policy.
It was a procedure before, part of our emergency response, but now it's codified in our board policy. And so it adds a little bit more weight to it.
Learning from the past so that teachers will be able to focus on educating our future. Bill Churchwell, 3 News.
All right, Bill, thanks. And Warnke tells us that his department will also be visiting each campus to give teachers their annual active shooter training. Also on Monday, the district upgraded its bully reporting system to now.
Wow. And I hope that CCISD can do its part to talk about safety. What about other schools besides CCISD? We don't know anything about Fire Bluff. I'm not gonna just go slant at them and say, hey, you need to make sure you just do this, do that. That's not what I'm gonna do. But what really needs to happen here is that we have to improve safety. That's the number one key. Everyone wants a few things. All parents care about is zero tolerance policies, zero tolerance drug policies, literacy, discipline, and safety. That's the 5 things that parents want. Everybody wants safety and discipline. Those are 2 key words. The 5 things they need: zero tolerance policies, drug policies, literacy, safety, and discipline. That's the 5 things that they need. But the 2 biggest ones are safety and discipline. And like I showed you weeks ago when I showed you that clip from 2020 on Cosmic Confidential, we don't need to have kids being arrested, being put into the juvenile detention centers for very minor behavior that could be easily handled by a parent. We don't need that. We really don't need that. Another part of our greatest hits was students who got suspended from school. There was a bunch of news articles that showed kids who got suspended. Like we talked about this district who suspended a student for attending an in-person class when he was supposed to be remote learning. A student who got suspended for posting a picture in the bathroom. A student who was suspended for taking a picture of a crowded hallway. A teacher who got suspended for having a jammer, which is illegal. But 6 years ago, a Detroit teen claims that she was suspended from school for having a cell phone. Now, also during our greatest hits, I told you about cell phones in schools, how they can be distracting the educational process. They interrupt the teacher's train of thought and the other student's train of thought. But why get suspended over that? Take a look.
Leave your wonderful pistachios. Take your...
Why don't you get suspended for just having a cell phone? Take a look.
Lines where kids in school record deplorable hate behavior on their cell phones. And tonight some parents think it's suspicious that one Detroit school suddenly decided to ban those phones. 7 Extra News reporter Kim Russo spoke to one student who says the new rule got her in extreme trouble.
This story is about a 15-year-old girl who says she values her education and has never been in trouble. Then She brought her cell phone to school. Now she's been suspended, kicked out of school for 5 days.
I've never done anything out of the ordinary, and it's just like, really, it was just thrown in my face, like, you're suspended for 5 days, get out of my school.
15-year-old Jamia says when she got to school yesterday, school staff were at the entrance, collecting cell phones and patting down kids.
It's like a penitentiary, like a jail.
She says she was instantly afraid. She says sometimes things get out of control at the William Randolph Vocational High. She likes to have her phone in case she needs to call for help or call her parents. Plus, she walks home alone every day to her home in Detroit. Would she get her phone back before the end of the day?
If something does happen where I see something, it's like I can't call 911 because I don't have my phone.
7 Action News called the district for comment. We were given a statement. It said, quote, "The incident has been brought to the attention of the appropriate parties and an investigation into the matter has been initiated." Jamia's mom works in education and wanted to speak anonymously. She says she worries 5 days out of school will hurt her daughter academically.
As a professional, we are obligated as professionals to call the parent and discuss it with the parents on a professional level. Okay? We cannot get irate or be on the same level with these children and expect the children to respect us.
Judge Frank Szymanski says unfortunately Jamia's story is all too familiar. He says many kids end up in his courtroom because they commit crimes while out of school on suspension. Sometimes while their parents think they're in class.
44% of juvenile crime happens during the school day.
He says schools that suspend kids frivolously create a pipeline to prison.
That actually impacts school climate in a negative way. That you have higher rates of dropout, you have poorer graduation rates, you have poorer school performance.
7 Action News is committed to covering the issues that impact your kids in their schools. If there's something you want us to know about and cover, contact me at fixmyschool@wxyz.com. In Detroit, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
And that's the same thing with me. If you have an issue that needs fixing in your school, you can contact me and I will fix your school like fixing a broken chair and a broken table and a broken heart. Okay. Now, another way we've been talking about school threats. Last month, a Maiden Lakes Charter School student was suspended after posting a picture of him with a gun.
New here at 6 o'clock, a student is in trouble accused of creating a social media scare. He's seen holding a gun and put the name of his teacher on an Instagram post.
The teen telling police it was meant to be a joke, but school officials say it is no laughing matter. 7's Franklin White reports from Northwest Miami-Dade.
He was wearing the shirt from his house, pointing a BB gun to his head.
A student suspended and was under investigation after this disturbing video and picture caught the attention of school officials at Matter Lakes Charter School in Northwest Miami-Dade.
I guess there's more students doing that, and they shouldn't be doing that, especially after what happened in Texas.
The video that was taken off campus and posted 2 weeks ago on the 15-year-old sophomore's Instagram page shows him putting what initially appeared to be a handgun to his head, as well as this picture of what was also believed to be a handgun with the teacher's name written beside it. The school's principal telling us when he saw the post, he immediately called in authorities.
I called the Homeland Security, and they came in. There was about 6 policemen that were here.
During the investigation, Miami-Dade police telling us their detectives went to the student's house and determined the gun was a BB gun and that the post was never sent to the school or teacher and that this was a joke between the student and the teacher's son. The student was never arrested. But the school's principal says after 2018's mass school shooting in Marjory Stoneman Douglas that took 17 lives and the nation's most recent mass school shooting in Texas that took 21 lives, he says this situation was no laughing matter.
I suspended him 10 days. 10 days because he was wearing our shirt. I don't know about other schools, but in this school, you don't joke around. You don't say that.
And we're told parents were immediately made aware once the school found out about the incident. And once again, that student was not arrested, only suspended. Reporting in Northwest Miami-Dade, Franklin White, 7 News.
he should have been arrested. He should have been arrested. You know why? Because in some states, you post threats like this, that's a terroristic threat. You could be charged with terrorism. Unless you are under 18, you are a juvenile. Now imagine doing a very popular dance and it was banned. A Milford High student was suspended for doing the Harlem Shake. Take a look.
You know, they admit that this probably was not a good idea to do on school property, and while some say it's just boys being boys, the district says this is no laughing matter. The Harlem Shake. It's a YouTube sensation that has everyone busting a move. One person starts, and when the beat drops, everyone else joins in.
We can definitely see how the video is inappropriate, but we didn't have any intent on harming the school, getting a suspension or anything of that nature.
These Milford High School seniors are among those seen in the potentially offensive video.
I think it's blown out of proportion that many kids were suspended. The video is my idea, or me and my friend's idea, and I produced it and everything. If one person should be suspended, it'd probably be me, not 30 plus kids.
We cannot take this activity lightly. Our students, we believe, need to be held accountable for their actions and held accountable for the direct violation of the student code of conduct.
The district says the boys lied to a teacher to gain access to an empty classroom after school to shoot a video for a class.
We weren't specific about it, but we did tell them that we were going to make a video, and the teacher unlocked the door and let us in the classroom.
Students say they were just trying to get a laugh, but tonight it's unclear who the joke is on.
I can see how the administration's upset. It's not a perfect video, and but I just think that the punishment doesn't fit the crime. That's a little excessive for a group of kids who are good kids, and don't get in trouble often.
I mean, I just clearly disagree with that. This is individuals who made a conscious decision to participate in a video where there is simulated sexual activity going on with all types of things, including a live animal.
And the district says this is actually the second of two videos. The first had nothing to do with the Harlem Shake, but involved racial slurs. That video has since been taken down from YouTube. Back to you in the studio.
I think the action was appropriate. Lying to a teacher, that's inappropriate. If you had told the teacher the truth, hey, we're doing a Harlem Shake, doing funny video for YouTube, blah, 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 the teacher would have said no. Just do it at your house. Do it somewhere. Don't even do it at this. And try going. It's not right. You may think the punishment doesn't fit the crime, but the student code of conduct says otherwise. If you don't like it, take a hike. Look, this was years ago. Alright, Friday, something we have not covered. I'm not talking about teachers. I'm not even going to just expose teachers and this and that. No, what I'm talking about is teacher-student sex scandals that always happen in the news. A racist TikTok was just that. What that for you also coming up on Friday's part as our greatest hits continues for the next 2 weeks, this week and next week, as we conclude our back to school month, which is going to be the start of August. It's the conclusion to our back to school month. That's Give Me a Break for this Wednesday going to Thursday. We will see you again for a Give Me a Break Friday. And for all of us here to Give Me a Break and YouTube, by us and me. Good night, everyone.